Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my June wrap-up. As you can see, there were lots of books read. Let me put these down. There were a lot of books read in June, and instead of me sitting here just listing off the 11 books I read, I thought we would make this fun. I thought that I would see what it's like to be the one and only Abby Lee Miller and put all of my contenders on a pyramid. I am not saying that a book at the bottom of the pyramid is a bad book. You know, no hard feelings to any of these books, but let me show you. Here is the pyramid. And as we go through these books, their spots on the pyramid will slowly be revealed while I give you a few thoughts, maybe a synopsis about the books, as well as my rating. In the bottom spot of the pyramid, we had Shady Hollow by Juno Black. If you've been following me, you know that this was a book club pick for the month of June and that I was sorely disappointed in it. So what is Shady Hollow about? It's about a bunch of two-dimensional woodland creatures that have human qualities solving a murder, and it just fell very flat for me. Lots of people love it, so don't take my word as, you know, the end-all be-all. I just did not have a good time, and I feel like most people at my book club had the same consensus. It's cute, but it's not great. So Shady Hollow, you are at the bottom of the pyramid. Next up, in the next to last spot, we have a 3-star book. So was it bad? No. It's just I read a lot of really, really good books in the month of June. We have Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. So Juniper Hill takes place in Montana. It's following this family called the Edens, who are really, really important in their small town. And each book follows a different sibling and their love life. So in this one, we follow one of the sons, Knox, and one of the new hotel employees. Knox is a chef and works at this hotel, and then this woman, I believe her name is Memphis, she comes to work at this hotel. She's escaping a bunch of stuff from her past, and she has a newborn infant. They kind of start out really like grumpy towards each other, but eventually like the gruffness wears off and they end up falling in love because these are all love stories. But a lot of secrets from Memphis's past come back to haunt her and Knox, and then Knox has some secrets of his own. This one was good, but I was really hoping for more of the like mystery element that we got in the first book, and I know there's more of that coming later in the series. So while I didn't dislike this book, I just was hoping for a little bit more. In the middle of the bottom of the pyramid, we have The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Wathers. I gave this, I believe, a 3.25. And this was the buddy read for the Sun's Out, Books Out readathon. This book was a lot of fun, but it was young adult, and so I just didn't feel as connected to some of the characters, but there were some really fun aspects about it. So this book follows our main character who has recently lost her sister, but has to go back to their family vacation spot in Martha's Vineyard because her cousin is getting married. This is a place that both she and her sister really loved, and so going back, obviously, she's carrying a lot of grief with her. But her cousin is trying to make this a fun trip, and so she plans a game of Assassin, which if you've never played Assassin with a big group of people, it's so much fun. And our main character is out to win Assassin in honor of her sister, but she kind of falls in love with the groomsman along the way. It was really cute, but like I said, I'm past the point of being able to connect to a lot of young adult characters, and so while I had fun with this and it was a good listen on audiobook, it was not my favorite. Next up, we have The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I have a hit or miss relationship with Christina Lauren. They have written some of my favorite romances, but they've also written some that have just fallen flat for me, like Something Wilder. This one kind of was right in the middle of being good, but also falling flat. And I just picked this up on a whim because I wanted an audiobook to listen to while I was diamond painting, and this one just happened to come up on Scribd. So in this one, we are following the inventor of a dating app who matches DNA. So like he says that he can pair two people's DNA that are going to make a perfect match. And this is all great and the company is doing well, but he ends up having the highest match potential of all with our female main character, who is a single mom. She doesn't have much money, and this ends up being kind of a fake dating situation because they decide to use their really high match as a publicity, not stunt, but like as good publicity for the company so that more people will want to buy into it and participate in it. And of course, they end up falling in love along the way. There is some miscommunication that really grinded my gears, and so that's why it's not like a 4-star or higher, but I thought it was a cute, fun, fast listen. Rounding at the bottom row of the pyramid, we have got The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. I actually forgot that I read this one in June. This is one I picked up on a whim at Barnes & Noble. I heard a couple of people talking about it, and I really liked it. But this book follows 2 points of view, and it's been so long that I can't remember the people's names, so please forgive me. But we've got our female main character who is basically like working herself to the bone, but she loves this one fantasy book that never got a sequel. It's her comfort read. It's not a very popular fantasy book, but like she absolutely loves it. And then we've got our male main character who is actually the author of the book. And our female main character one day was like, you know, I haven't heard anything about this book or about this author, so I wonder if he has a website. And she ends up finding the website, and the beginning of the book is them corresponding to each other through emails in a kind of you've got mail way. They get to know each other really well. They're like, oh my gosh, if I were just closer to you, this is the date we would go on, we would have the best time. But they never think that they're actually going to meet. Eventually, though, the emails from the main character, Nick, I just remembered his name, they stop coming. And this absolutely devastates female main character. Fast forward into the future, and Nick has actually moved into the same apartment as female main character, but she doesn't know it's him and he doesn't know it's her at first, and they hit it off. So we've got kind of like a hidden identity situation going on where like she still feels really, really wrecked about this author who never emailed her back, but she's also kind of falling for her hot new neighbor. The family dynamics in this were great. I just wanted a little bit more depth to the character, so that's why it's not a 4-star or higher. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's not too spicy either. There's like 1 or 2 really short scenes, but I think that if you're not wanting a lot of spice, you could probably just skip through those, and this would be a pretty clean romance for you. In the next spot, we have got Swamp Story by Dave Barry. I read it through Scrib because this was the July book club pick for my in-person book club, and I just decided to go ahead and listen to it. I don't even know how to explain the synopsis of this book to you because there's so many groups of characters, but I will do my best. So we have got some characters who are basically living in the Everglades in this cabin. 2 guys who think that they're going to be reality TV stars, and then one of the guy's girlfriends and their daughter. Okay, they're living out in the Everglades, living their life. They're kind of struggling. They're hurting a little bit. Then we've got these 2 middle-aged men who are trying to make some money by doing princess parties. The men are dressing up as the princesses. They also don't have 2 princess costumes, so one of them is going as Dora the Explorer. So we got them. And then we got 2 brothers who run the bait and beer shop. All of these people's stories come together when they decide they all kind of need some money, and so they're going to fabricate this monster that lives in the Everglades by like dressing up the Dora the Explorer head in a crazy way and filming it kind of Blair Witch Project style, but funny. I don't know, it's a whole thing. And the video goes viral and they kind of get their wish. Like people start flocking to this bait and beer shop. But then there's a whole other aspect to the story to where that girl who's living in the cabin in the Everglades finds a bunch of gold hidden in the woods, and she's trying to get out of this situation that she's gotten herself in. She is not happy living in the Everglades. And so then a whole bunch of people are also trying to get the gold from her, and everybody's storylines converge. And it is action-packed. It's really funny. There's some tender moments, there's some dark moments, and there's some really good glimpses at humanity. But overall, this is just a commentary on social media in a funny way. So I think it's worth the listen if you just want to laugh. Yeah. At first I had given this 3.5 stars, but after our book club meeting where we just talked about it, as it happens with me, you hear positivity, you think more positively, I bumped this up to a 4-star. So I enjoyed it. Next up, we have got Tress of the Emerald Sea. This was a 4-star read. So as you can see, we have got a lot of 4 and 5-star reads this month. Have no fear, my pyramid is huge, but you know, the higher up we get, the more positive we get. Tress of the Emerald Sea was so much fun. If you don't know anything about this book, it was Brandon Sanderson's first secret project that he wrote when he was in quarantine. He wrote it inspired and for his wife, They were watching The Princess Bride as a family one night, and his wife basically said, you know, I love this movie, but I wish Buttercup had more to do. And so he wrote this, giving the female main character more to do in the quest of saving the man that she loves. So in this book, we have Tress, who is living on this rock island, and she's pretty happy to just stay there forever. She kind of has this really cute, innocent love relationship with the Duke's son of the island. And, you know, the Duke's not happy that his son wants to marry somebody of Tress's stature. And so they go sailing away to find him a wife. Tress, not happy with this. So she basically commandeers a boat, hops on a pirate ship, lies about who she is, and sets out to save her beloved. This book mostly takes place on a pirate ship. Some of the characters are great. Something I really want to point out is there's great deaf representation in this book. As the child of a deaf father, I really, really appreciate seeing positive deaf representation in books. There's a very cute, funny, witty animal companion that I loved. And then I also really liked some of the like science fiction fantasy aspects of this book. For example, the sea is not made of water. It's made of these spores that fall from the moon that can be really deadly and detrimental. And everywhere you travel in the world, the spores and the characters of the spores are different. And so you have to get accustomed to like, okay, well here the spores are gonna sprout vines. But here the spores are gonna act like acid and burn you up. And Tress has to learn how to control the spores and how to interact with them. And then there's a pretty cool epic showdown at the end. So it's a really good book. The only reason it wasn't a 5-star book is some of the science got a little too sciencey for my not science inclined brain, but it was a great time and a really good release for Brandon Sanderson that's a little bit outside the realm of his typical Cosmere books, even though this is in the Cosmere, and I really enjoyed it. Next up on that row, we have The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This book was so much fun as well. If disturbing, thrilling books are fun, for me they can be. So in this book we follow our main character who leaves a really, really bad review on a really, really bad book on Amazon, and the author gets really pissed off, tracks her down, starts stalking her, torturing her, terrorizing her. But the fun thing about this book is we also get excerpts of the really bad author's newest book, which follows him terrorizing the girl that left the bad review. So we get 2 timelines, but one of them is definitely unreliable, and I just had a lot of fun. This book was fun. It had the same like very intense, rapid fire, you feel stressed out all the time vibes that No Exit had. On the second row, everything from here, by the way, will be 5 stars and up. We have Air of Fire by the one, the only Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series, so I can't say too much about it, but we're exploring more of the world that Selena lives in. We get multiple points of views from many beloved characters as well as some new characters, and can I just say, Manon is the coolest fantasy heroine I have read in a while. If you can call her a heroine. Right now she's kind of reading more like anti-hero, but I really like her. Abraxos is introduced in this book. We've got more magic, we've got more witchy elements, we've got more evil, we've got more action. Overall, this book was just so much fun. We've got way more character development. I'm actually starting to like Selena now because most of the time I think she's just a whiny brat, but having a lot of fun. Cannot wait to read Queen of Shadows. Sorry, I was wondering what my cats were doing. Second place on the pyramid, we have got Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This book has been everywhere. I'm definitely late to the party. This is a literary fiction book about 2 friends who meet when they're... Oh, hi. 2 friends who meet when they're kids. They bond over their love of video games, and then as adults, they team up to start a video game company, and they produce several highly successful video games. This book explores their friendship, the really, really high highs and the really, really low lows. They have a really beautiful, intimate friendship, but they also have at times a toxic friendship, but it's also about some of the other relationships in the story, and the way this story is told is beautiful. We switch timelines, we get different kinds of point of views. There is a chapter called The NPC, and I don't want to spoil anything, but when I say my heart needed to be guarded, that chapter is just very creative storytelling. And as somebody who casually likes video games but is not like super invested in the world of video game production, this book made me care so much about what goes into making a video game. There are some content warnings, so I will either put those on the screen or down in the description, but this was a beautiful book. I know it's a little bit not traumatizing, it's a little bit divisive. Some people really don't like it, and then some people absolutely love it, and I feel like not many people fall in the middle. I was a person who gave this book 5 stars, so loved it, loved it, loved it. It would have been top of the pyramid if I hadn't read the book that is at the top of the pyramid. A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman. I vlogged my reading experience of this, and I cried and I sobbed, and then I cried some more, and then I smiled some more, and then I laughed, and then I cried some more. I loved this book so much. I immediately turned around and watched the Tom Hanks version on Netflix, A Man Called Otto, because I just was not ready to leave these characters, and I really thought the movie did the book justice as well. So if you take Mr. Monk from the TV show Monk, and you take the old man from the movie Up, and you combine them together, you get Uwe. His wife has passed away. He is very sad. He is ready to be done with the world. I'm just gonna say content warnings for suicide. And he's done. He's mean, he's grumpy, he's out to make everybody else's life miserable because he's miserable, because hurt people hurt people. But some new neighbors move in, and the woman who moves in, the mom, she is not about to put up with Uwe's, curmudgeon-y ways. She sets out to be a friend to him, be a neighbor to him, and she's going to stop at no cost whether Uwe likes it or not. And this story is just about community coming together and pouring into others, even if they look like somebody who can't be poured into, and just about what relationships can do for each other. There's also a cat, and I don't know if y'all know me, but I like cats. So this book just had my heart. His writing is sarcastic, witty, funny, hopeful, dry. It's everything, and you will fall in love with the characters that he writes about, and then you will cry. You'll laugh, but then you'll definitely cry some more. We'll be continuing the book Pyramid in July for my July wrap-up, so if you liked it, let me know. And if you watched all the way to the end of the video, this can be really random. Leave a fish emoji. Why not? Just leave a fish emoji. And I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you in another video very soon. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. I love to interact with you guys, and have a great day wherever you are.